All right, heading out for another ride with the RX Pro and the Leisure. Going to Burnaby, taking a different route, this time through Vancouver. And just going to show you my new pannier setup. These are the Ortleib waterproof city panniers, which are hella expensive. 190 bucks for the pair. But these are waterproof, and the carrying capacity is pretty good. I got these because the last pair I got off Amazon were terrible. It was a three-piece unit, so you'd have this bag and then also a top backpack that would strap to the three. And that was the only way it was stable. So now the stability is actually much better, because the old ones would come off the rack on even slight bumps. So there was no way to use them just as panniers on the sides. So after having the pannier come off the hook and then go into the spokes, which damaged it, I said forget it. It was just not worth the hassle of always having to use it as a three-piece unit. Plus they were not waterproof and they had really bad zippers. So I would recommend never getting a pannier with zippers. Get the buckle down method. It's much easier to deal with, because I was already having problems with those zippers being stuck. So I'm gonna give it a test today. Gonna pick up some stuff. I'm gonna probably be using this for grocery runs. But as you can see right now, they are locked on there. And they come with extra bracers for the size of your rack post that you can adjust. I put some in there. I think it was 8mm, 11mm. I think I put 11s in there just to make it a little bit tighter fit. They click right in there into these latches. So now they can be adjusted as well. The left and the right bar can be, you can slide them around to adjust the width of your rack. And then they fit on the insides with the clips, which can also be adjusted. So no problem with this. And there's even spacers for those things to make them, if you're like this bar I have on my rack here is actually quite thick. So I had to take out the spacer, and then you twist it 90 degrees, which gives it a little more height, and you put it back in, and then you have a little more width to fit that clip on there without breaking the plastic. So these have reflective strips on there that are pretty good. And yeah, so I think I solved the pannier problem. So it's a question of trial and error with all these things. So right now we're going to head out, and I'm starting at using the voltage again of 52.6. It's not a full charge. It was about 90, 95. I'm trying not to do full charges anymore, just to save the life of the battery. It's supposed to not really go higher than 80%, no lower than 20%. So I have just hit the 407 kilometer number there. So that's been about a month of use. All right, so I'll get back when we're on the road. So we're on Adanac bike route, which is a straight line into Burnaby. We might do a stop over at Deer Lake, just do a little bit of shopping at the Brentwood Center. Okay, now listen to my new brakes. Hear that? Exact same water sounds as before. I finally got the brakes replaced, the pads. 2 days ago. Again, a cost of $109 after tax. These were some pads called Kool, K-O-O-L, which the owner of Reckless Bikes assured me were better than Shimano B10S. And they are making exactly the same noise as my older brakes from Tektro. I don't know what the problem is. That was a bad experience. I had terrible service. First of all, I phoned there and asked them if they had the Shimano B10S. The guy goes and checks. Comes back, he goes, yeah, we have those. So I go in there. cycle down. And then he's giving me something else. He's showing me this something called Kool, K-O-O-L. Some company out of California that the owner seems to love. And I'm like, these are not Shimano's. And he goes, oh, better than Shimano. He's an Italian guy, could barely speak English. So, and the price was horrendous. It was like 40 bucks a pair. And I was like, no, it's too expensive. So he says, okay, 35 a pair. And I'm like, all right. So then I'm waiting around for 40 minutes, and then I get the bike. And then they've charged me the full price of 40. And so I started talking about that. I said, I'm not paying this because the guy already reduced the price. And then the owner comes in and he starts yelling at me about, oh, well, just take everything off the bike if you're not happy. And he starts making things about shortages of parts and excuses. I'm like, I'm not talking about that. I said, I phoned and you said, the guy who answered the phone, who he confirmed you had the Shimano's, and these are not Shimano's, and also the price is off. So finally, after some discussion there, he knocked 20 bucks off. Listen to that. It's even worse than before. I think my back brake didn't really have that problem. So I got it out of there finally at 109 bucks, and I didn't get my old pads back, which was a mistake. I should have asked for that. And then I'm almost home and I'm hearing this clicking noise in the front wheel. And then I stop and I look, and the pad is hitting the sides of the wall. It's not even aligned properly. You know, you're supposed to have like a millimeter of space or two on both sides of the brake pad. No, so the guy didn't even align it properly. And like, isn't that the basic thing you would do when you put in new brake pads? And I'm like, why did I do this? I could have maybe just worked on this myself at home. So that's a lesson I learned. It's like, just do it yourself. Especially for something like brake pads. I mean, if it goes well, you're okay. Like on the leisure bike, we had them replaced and they're fine. But that was a Jaguar Dior. And those have been quiet. So I don't know what's going on with this bike. I mean, they seemed to start fine. They were okay for like half a day. And I bedded them in as well. I did at least 30 repetitions of, you know, slowing down to almost to a stop. And it hasn't made any difference. I did get them wet the other day. I took about a 10-kilometer trip where it started to rain right near the end. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but why? And now I'm getting noise on the back brake too. So both of them. So I ended up, you know, then deciding to go back to the store to get the pads aligned. And I went to the location on Hornby where the mechanic is actually understands English. He's a real friendly guy. And he did a good job on the leisure bike. So I took it back to him and I said, yeah, I got these replaced at the Davy store and they're not aligned. So he did it for free. It took an hour. I had to walk home and come back and pick up the bike again. So there's another hassle you have to deal with the shops. You never know how long they're going to work on it. And that was like 4 trips. 2 back and forth with the bike to the first location, 2 back and forth to the second location, just to get mistakes fixed. Like basic shit like that. Like aligning brake pads. So of course I can't even prove that they actually replaced the pads because he didn't give me my old ones back. I mean, as far as the sound goes, they sound identical, and I can't really see unless I take them out and see if there's a brand name on them. I assume he must have replaced them. So now I think I have to go back to the store with a good mechanic. Huh? And then ask him about it and say these are just as bad as my original brakes. And see what he can do about it. They're probably not going to be able to do anything. But I'll give it a shot. I mean, it's $100 basically, threw away. So that's the latest update on brake pads. So this is a straight route all the way into Burnaby, which we've never been on. And I have recharged the bike to 95%. I think I was down to 18. The last charge, which I think was my 8th charge on the bike in a month, I only got about 39 kilometers out of it, but it was again not fully charged, and I didn't drain it completely either. But since we're going on a bit of a mystery drive this time, I'm going to have to give it a bit more charge. I'm still not going completely on 100 though. So I've just passed the 400 kilometer total point. And a couple of days ago I took it on a rough ride, which I should have recorded. Went through the Stanley Park trails, found some of these hidden trails which are meant for walking, but they're just wide enough to accommodate a bike, so I decided to try one. I did manage to get about halfway through one before you got some very large stumps where you have to take some steps, and I actually had to get off the bike and carry it. But it was a little interesting test of how the bike maneuvers in really tight spaces. I mean, it's not the most nimble because it is heavy. So we're looking at now a total of 9. This is my 9th charge in just about a month. So okay, we're looking at summer riding, so that would probably be the extreme. And I would say this is going to drop considerably in the next few months. It's like worse than before. I didn't have the squeak at least before. I got squeak and the water noise.
We'll bring it back to the
yeah. Because then he's going to have to take it apart. He's going to have to look at them. He's probably have to clean the rotors again. But that first guy did a shit job. He didn't even align the pads. Remember? I get home, I'm like, that's like the basic thing you would do. Yeah, I did. The guy didn't say sorry. He just said, oh, I'm glad you took it to the other shop and he took care of the problem. He just said, I'm glad he took care of the problem. So yeah, the service at these stores can vary wildly, you know, just depending on who's the boss, who's the mechanic. You can get a great reaction at one shop and then not so good at another. So the Hornby location is not as busy, and there's one guy working in the main store and then maybe 2 mechanics. So you have a better chance of getting something done there. So that's where I've been going. And this guy's actually sociable. He knows how to talk to customers. And you can't really say that about every mechanic, and usually that's not their job to front a store. They just do the work. But this guy's a good combination of both, which is pretty rare. And he even knew the Italian guy by name. He's like, oh, Stefani, or what is his name? I can't remember. But he was like, oh, shouldn't he be out singing opera or something instead of working on bikes? He was making little jokes, which was appreciated. So let's see how much riding we can get in the next month or so. Take advantage of the weather. It's a bit cooler today, which is good. It's only about 18. Had a really hot couple days in the last week where it was unfit to be outside. Just gonna go into the forest and that's it. So I was sticking with forest runs through Stanley Park. Still discovering trails in Stanley Park that I haven't been on before. It's amazing. Every time I go in there, it's like, oh, where does this go? And it leads off to some area you haven't been in. So that's always great. So yeah, we continue to look at e-bikes. What the next purchase will be, because as I mentioned before, her bike is just too big and heavy for her. I mean, she's managing it, but it's not ideal. I mean, the price point's good for what you get, for sure. I mean, it's a great battery. I mean, she's usually got like 50 kilometers more riding than me on this. It's like takes forever to drop. Well, mine drops pretty quickly once it's below 90%. There we go again. Nice water. All right, a nice hill. All right, should take a speed test. Oh, some bumps. Not much for that. So what I've learned on the last few rides, you know, just dealing with this bike, is that I would like a lighter bike. Most definitely. So the next one I'm going to get, I'm looking at Specialized right now. It's going to be one of their sort of Vado 5.0 SL bikes, which means super light. And they're coming in at about 36 pounds, which isn't much more than my regular road bike. Of course, you're going to have to trade in the nice motor because they're only 250 watts. It's like European standard on all these bikes. But also you would lose the throttle, which does come in handy sometimes, and you would lose the power. I mean, this is a 1,000-watt motor, so. But then again, this bike weighs double. So the mileage they're reporting on these bikes still seems quite high. but that's because it's so light. So I don't think I would worry too much about the mileage. If I could still get 70, I'd be happy. But I would trade that this motor, I think, for something that's 30 pounds lighter. It's going to have thinner tires. It's not going to be as good for trails, of course. Trying to bed them in. So another route I've never been on. Yeah, the other price, the problem is the price. With the Specialized is crazy high. I'm anticipating between 6,000 and 7,000 Canadian. I just called the store and they don't even have them in yet. They're like a 2021 model that they're getting in a couple weeks. Now the old Vado 5.0, which is I think a regular weight bike, probably 50 pounds, is already listed at 6,000. So I expect those new ones will be 7,000, which is getting ridiculous, isn't it? Of course, they look like a regular bike, which is nice. The battery is hidden away in the down tube. The assist levels can be accessed from the tube itself. And it's, going to be rated to what? 32 kilometers an hour probably, top assisted speed. So the question is, here I've got this fast bike. How often am I using it at fast speeds? I'm not really going beyond pedal assist 1 most of the time. I think I am kicking in the throttle occasionally when we're coming up on a light that's, maybe it's showing you've got 6 seconds to cross and you can actually just hit the throttle, give you that boost. Or when you're in the middle of a traffic lane and you need that boost to keep up with the traffic. It's very handy for that. Of course, it drains battery pretty quickly. So, yeah. And just, this is where the future is going to be, I think. Bikes are going to get lighter before they get accepted. When you're getting older, you don't want to be dealing with a 70-pound bike. I've already hurt my elbow dragging this thing around over corners and maneuvering it. So I don't really like that idea, that I can never carry it up step or down a step without a big hassle. Of course, when you're on it, it's super comfortable, as long as the battery is working. Just done over 4 kilometers. See, this is normally where I would kick in my thrust, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just gear down to 2 and do the workout. Whereas Suzanne is just probably putting up her pedal assist. This would be impossible to do without the motor. I can tell you that right now. And somebody mentioned the Specialized Vado 5.0. Yeah, rode it in San Francisco, and he said that it was like a slug on the hills there. But those are extreme hills. But yes, for a 250 watt motor, it's going to be slow. So there's always trade-offs. I mean, getting this bike at $3,500, I thought was a ridiculous price. I was like, maybe $2,000. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is one with all the bells and whistles. But I don't really think about the weight. First, you're looking at all the bells and whistles. Fancy motor, throttle, suspension post, fat tires. And then you've never dealt with 4-inch tires before. It's pretty scary. You first get them. The size of this front wheel. The effort it takes to just turn the wheel when the bike's at a stop. It's considerable. So then I was like, okay, now I see the drawback. This extreme weight. I mean, 68 pounds is not even the heaviest. I've seen some that are going over 70. Usually you want to keep the Bafang 1000-watt motor. You're going to have a heavier bike, because these are meant for the heavy-duty bikes, not these Bosch motors that give you a max of 250. And I don't know when that's going to change. It's nice to see Bosch put out at least a 500-watt motor. All right, getting some nice tree shade here in the typical East Van houses. Yeah, you have to get ahead of me. I mean, after being on 1000-watt motor, I was looking at the Leisure 500-watt as a bit weak. I was like, oh, it's only 500, and it's still double what you get on any of these Specialized or Trek systems. So yeah, I think that's the that'll probably be worth it though for my wife, because she really wants a lightweight bike, and this is way too heavy. So I may end up staying with the Rize for longer because I can deal with it, but she would maybe end up getting the Specialized next year and see what happens with the prices, and then just sell the Leisure. Though the sell-off time is sort of already past, because now we're heading into the fall. There'll be more bikes available, but a month ago it was prime time. Could have almost got exactly what we paid for it. But we're getting the riding in, which is good. It's good we didn't wait another year. Still glad that we got both of them, so we could actually do some trips together. Because I like to ride on my own too, but it's nice to get out together. And she's not really never been a cyclist. She would rather walk, and I was always complaining about the walks. I was like, oh, I don't want to walk again. I really don't like it. I'll stop. But there's just something about cycling. It's just much easier on my muscles. I mean, my walking ability, I guess you can get used to that too, but it always tires me out more. Or just the leg movement, the knee movement on a bike is just really suitable for me. Oh, some great clouds. Guy just pulls out. come to a real gradual stop, the water noise is not so bad. But if you try to do a quick stop, forget it. White.
You see that guy?
So I'm going to keep trying to do this with the brakes here, just a gradual. Once you put on them hard, it's going to make the noise. The only time we've been up here before is with the SkyTrain. We never come into Burnaby. It's a good filming day. It's not too bright. Okay, just back brake now. You can hear it there. Hey! Gesundheit. Can that squeak? All right, what I'm going to do next then is just buy some cheap pads off Amazon that are delivered from China. You know, that cost maybe 20 bucks a pair, and then I will just replace them myself if these don't get the problem worked out. But no more shop buying of pads. Because if it's a continuous problem, then it's got to be the rotors. There's something wrong with them. Oh, listen to that high-pitched noise. It's the Squeal, Piggy Squeal edition. So yeah, I've just looked at the expenses so far since we got the bikes. It's like 750 bucks on extras. You know, 200 bucks for panniers, 150 for a lock. And, you know, it's another problem too with this bike. It's so big, you need a massive chain, like 4 feet long. Of course, if you get a smaller bike, you can go back to using U-locks, which is also great. I'm not crazy about the chain idea. So yeah, the kryptonite lock is adding like 10-15 pounds. If you, at least you take it out for shopping, it's not so bad. You know, the Costco run, it's short, but I wouldn't want to be carrying that thing all day. I would probably knock off another 20 kilometers off the bike battery distance. And what else? 2 mirrors, it's another 50 bucks. You know, cleaning kit, 20 bucks. And God, it's awful. And then I got a chain link tool that measures your chain to see if it's stretching. It's just a throw-on item from Amazon. That was about 9 bucks. That you just put it into the links, and if it fits on, manages to go into the slots, it shows that your chain has been stretched, and it's time for a new chain. And then I also bought a degreaser, a gallon of it, for about 23 bucks for cleaning the chain properly. And then gold lube, which is like one of the best bike lubes, and that was like 50 bucks for 16 ounces. It's crazy. I think it's like imported from Texas. Okay, so we're here at the shopping center. Gonna take a quick look and then I'll be back. Continuing on our way on one of the busiest streets, Lougheed Highway. At least it has a bike path. I've got this horrendous squeaking on my front brake. following the Sky Train. So yeah, when we stopped at Brentwood Mall, I was off my bikes packing the panniers. Some guy walked by and he's like, "Oh, those are your bikes?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I gave him the whole spiel about the bikes and what they're, the good points, the bad points, because he was thinking of getting one. So yeah, it's nice. I have brakes are worse than before because I've got this high-pitched whine. When we were walking the bikes through the outside mall area, you get into a covered area where you have walls and the roof above you, and I was just lightly applying the left brake, and it was just horrendous dog howling squeal. Even going like a walking speed. So yeah, this is not the nicest way to get in. But right now it's the easiest way to get to the park. The Burnaby park area is quite large. So some other guy was saying, "Oh, what's your top speed on that bike?" They were sitting down there eating. And I said, "Oh, I hit 62 on a downhill, but probably about 48 with just assist by itself." Taking a tour of the car dealerships. Very nice. Just can't imagine living on the side here. I mean, these houses are right off of Lougheed. Whoa! Popped a rock there, pretty loud. It's got to be noisy as hell living here. Can't imagine it. Still in pedal assist 1. It's my standard. I never leave it. Now I can see her behind me. She's got her headlights on. Really good idea. Still there? About 27k an hour here. Burnaby Lake, 3.5 kilometers. Okay, that was as far as I thought it would be. Oh, this looks worse on the map. All right, should get a little more pleasant now. There's Dairyland on the left with their huge tanks of ice cream or milk or whatever. All right, I just missed crossing that bridge, the overpass with the train going by. That was a nice bit of footage as I was going over the bridge. The train underneath, but I missed it because the battery ran out. And there's a heron on the right. You see a lot of these in Stanley Park. Okay, we're finally out of the city into the park. Another park I've never been in. Ooh, berries. You see some good berries there? Should have brought some plastic bags. Should have brought plastic bags. Where do you see any berries? Where? I don't see any. Always forget about that. Berry picking. What's that?
I'll tell you when it turns, so I'm not setting a pace for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, yeah?
She likes to go slow anyway.
Yeah.
Want to see all the nice factories here.
Yeah, I'm going on 110 kilometers at the moment. So.
Yeah? You're on 110? For the day?
For the day, yeah.
Wow.
We rode out to White Rock.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how long has that taken you so far?
4.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. So how often do you do that? Fairly regular?
Yeah, I'm with, so it's with a club.
Okay.
That leaves out of Fortius.
Right.
Yeah, and so we ride Saturday mornings, do like a long ride, and then Tuesday nights are like kind of like coach training.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started around what, 8?
We leave at 8:30, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we meet there around 8:45, at 8:30.
Do you usually take the same routes? Or try?
Usually completely different routes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll start from places that you actually have to drive your bike out.
Okay. Yeah, it's the truth.
We went up to Slave Lake.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Or State Lake.
Yeah, we haven't been on this one before. I mean, last time we went out to Richmond along the dike, which, you know, is pleasant most of the way, except for about 15 minutes of hellish casino road riding before you can get back on the path.
So is this,
Yeah, it's a 1,000-watt motor. I just went for the biggest one.
You 1,000 watts of power?
Yeah, so I've hit like over 60 on it.
Yeah, that's a lot of power.
But it's, you know, it's not something you're going to use all the time. It's mainly, sometimes you get stuck in the traffic, and then you can use your throttle to at least keep up with the traffic.
Right.
And not have to worry about, oh geez, you know, I'm slowing everybody down where they get to starting to honk at you. But it's just heavy, that's the problem. Like, it's the first time I've tried an e-bike, and it's like 68 pounds. So it's a bit unwieldy if you want to maneuver it in and out of apartments and that kind of thing. Okay. So take a right here. All right, thanks again. He said he'd already been cycling for 110 kilometers. He started at 8 o'clock. He's in a cycle club. They usually go out on Saturday. Sometimes they actually have to drive their bikes up to where they want to go. So he was asking me too about the bike. So he said there should be signs, and then you can look. He says there's some paths. One is apparently good for bikes, and the other one's not for bikes. I'll just see what it says. Like, where's this lake? I mean, this is the only way to go.
I saw a sign for that blue way that probably might take us back.
Yeah.
I can find us back. I think it was closed, but that was like a long time ago.
Uh-huh. All right.
I remember walking by train tracks.
Okay. All right, another throttle test. At about 43. And I'll just coast to a stop here. So we're still looking for the where this lake is. I mean, he told us to go in here and there would be signs. So I'm curious where that is. Wow, already down to 62%. That didn't take long. Of course, again, it wasn't a full charge. It was, I think I was at 95. I probably just spent 10% on that throttle. I always have a hard time using the throttle because it always feels like, oh, I'm going to be draining the battery really fast. So it's best to be used for emergencies. Sports complex to the right again. Okay, so we've backtracked already. I'd like to know where the entrance is. Once we find it, then it's on my map. My GPS will know where it is. But there's supposed to be two lakes. Where's Deer Lake? No, that's not it. But that is, yeah. So we went the wrong way. But didn't we go left off there? And then somehow we ended up going the wrong way, back to the sports complex. I'm at 62%. What are you at?
86.
Uh-huh.
As long as we get home, we still have another hour to
Yeah.
hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, well, this is where we came off before. Just going in a circle. This says Lake South. So I guess we got to stay straight. Huh? Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, we should have gone straight.
That looks like street.
All right, I'm also carrying a 5-pound game in my pannier, so this is adding a little bit of weight. Plus the water bottles. So it's gonna use your battery a little bit more. So here's where we made the mistake originally. We came here and we went right. You're not supposed to do that. All right, finally, we're in here. Whoa!
We can continue on the street and go to that wildlife reserve. We can continue this way and go to that wildlife refuge.
Well, that was a disappointment. I thought they'd have cycling.
Sorry?
That was a disappointment.
Why not your way? You can go around. I mean, it's not that far from here. If you want to look on the map.
Yeah. 16 kilometers to Stanley Park. It's at 16 kilometers to Stanley Park. Let's go there. At least we know our way around. Haven't been on this one. This is a decent path. All I got out of Burnaby Lake was some berries. Should get a t-shirt. Bisschen Hunger.
Yeah, I was just thinking too, I could use some nuts.
Well, let's see if there's any place to stop. How's your battery? How's your battery? 58. Yours is dropping a bit faster. Let's see how fast I can go with pedal assist 5. Gonna try to push it here. So 43, 44. Oh, not too bad. All right, at 29.5 kilometers, down to 55. path again. Just take a little detour off the bike path. Some construction going on. So right in the middle of car dealership land. It's like Disneyland, but better. Ooh, Audi. Ooh, Mazda. Now we're right onto the SkyTrain. Hey! She's using throttle. What a cheater. Real cyclists don't do that. So we're going to get back onto the path here. It's actually probably a nice path to go to Burnaby on. We took a different route. This route is called Shady SkyTrain route. I guess you could take this route to Burnaby as well. $32.6K, 54% battery left. We were not in terminal. We're still in Burnaby. Don't you recognize the street? It's still Burnaby. There's a SkyTrain here. I thought that was way too early. So what are we gonna go down, right?
Yeah, let's continue. I don't know where it goes. But
Well, we'll follow it downtown. Yeah, I thought we were a little early. Just because there was a Home Depot, I was like, no, that can't be
it
already.
looks like the Home Depot, and it looks like the
Yeah,
SkyTrain was there.
yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
So we're still in Burnaby. The horror.
Which one was it then?
What? Well, it's the one on Renfrew. We've just passed the Brentwood Mall. Not that far. Yeah. That must be Lougheed. That must be Lougheed. Yeah. What a sexist comment. Nice tires, woo! Sexy. Don't know what he was referring to there. Is he referring to tires or a tire? That's what I thought it was. People notice the fat tires.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing else, really. All right, it's another path I've never taken. At least there is one. It takes you all the way through. There's two routes into Burnaby. I still have so much room in my panniers. An urge to shop. Lots of room in my panniers still. What? That's good. At least they haven't come flying off. Bit of a hill. Can I make it? Gear 5. Pedal assist 1. Still doing 20. Huh? I don't know. I guess we could. I don't know if this is still a bike path. I don't know if this is still a bike path. Well, this isn't too bad. This route's all right.
Yeah.
I guess you could actually go and take this route. It will do it again, but take this route and then go to the lake. can see why they limit the speed to 32. I mean, 32 is pretty fast already for a pedal assist. I mean, I'm only coasting here at 23, and this would be sort of a medium pace already for cycling. Not too fast, not too slow. I kept thinking 32 kilometers an hour was not fast enough, but it is. If you're going downhill, of course, you'll hit faster speeds, but just on a flat, in this case, 250 watt Bosch motor would probably be fine. Maybe not so great for doing massive hills. But then again, when your battery runs out, you can just cycle home, because 36 pounds is not going to be a problem to cycle without power. Whereas if something happens with this bike, you're either walking it home or you gotta call for a delivery truck. Is that an Ortleib? Is that an Ortleib pannier? Looks like it. It's the same reflecting thing on there. See, a little bit of throttle was used and I dropped another 3%. Maybe I can stop at the Reckless store since we're going to be right by it. Maybe they're still open. And ask them about it. Okay, go. Just raise my seat a little bit. Thought I was in Bavaria there for a second.
Sorry about that.
Oh. See if we can do a stop by at Reckless. Ask them of the brakes. Pretty sure they're not going to replace them. I love the variety of lyrics in that song. It's like 3 words. Best lyrics ever in that song. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. It's not very Bob Dylan, that's for sure. I should take this alley.